Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Superman and Lois Season 4. So this is the final season of the Superman and Lois show on the CW. And I can't believe it's coming to an end. This was a show I could see keep going on for multiple seasons, but as you know, David Zaslav had to screw that all up by wanting to create the DCU, and so he put Peter Safran and James Gunn in control, and James Gunn doesn't want competition. So this marks the end of an era. This is the last DC show on television. Not only that, but it's the last CW DC show. And it's the last show that is slightly connected to the Arrowverse. But technically, the Arrowverse has been over with for a couple of years. And this was originally tied to it until they decided to do their own thing and just be a regular DC show. So, yes, this is the last. Like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe it. This has been like over a decade of DC television on TV and everything, and it's all coming to an end because one man doesn't want competition. Mr. Beady Eyes himself. And I've already said you can't trust nobody with beady eyes. But anyways, so there was a lot more going on than just Peter Safran, James Gunn, and David Zaslav. The whole CW debacle, if you will. So basically, CW shows got a little too CW-ish. They got a little too fluffy, and like I like to call it, like they just feel like fluffy TV shows. They're not hard and hitting like they used to be when they first started. And so because of that, they started losing a bunch of money. They weren't making no money. And then they merged or got bought out by Nexstar, I think. And so because of that, the CW started to look completely different now. Now there are game shows. Now there are sports. There are family dramas and not so much teen dramas and stuff. And there's no DC anything on television because they got rid of Superman and Lois. They was getting rid of everything that was old and bringing in some of the new stuff and acquiring shows from Canada that's already like airing and stuff. It looks completely different. And now they have WWE Next or NXT, depending on how you like to say it and stuff. And so, yeah, CW looks really different right now, like really, really different. I don't know if it's doing any good, but most likely the sports will bring in a bunch of viewers and stuff. And, they used to have wrestling back in the day on the CW, but then they got rid of it and stuff. And so, like, because of that and the whole David Zaslav thing, everything was just a changing, and they got rid of this show. Now, some people have said, James Gunn, if he wanted to, he could have saved this show and put it on HBO Max. But James Gunn doesn't want competition. Because some people are saying that James Gunn has said that Superman and Lois is his favorite Superman show. I've never seen no receipts of that. I have looked on the internet. I have looked on his Twitter. I have not seen nothing where he said that. However, I did read where he said he knows other people like this show. And so because of that, he'll let it have its like hurrah in this last the fourth season. But like I said before, because he's coming out with that Superman movie, he does not want competition from any other type of Superman project whatsoever. Because he wants his Superman thing to be like, the it factor and stuff. And he's been working on that for over a year or two. And so he does not want competition because he knows a lot of people really, really enjoy this show. I'm shocked and surprised. I like this show because if you ever heard me complain, I don't like CW Arrowverse. It's too fluffy for me. It's not hard hitting like, the Netflix, like Marvel shows like Daredevil. It's not hard hitting like that. It's kind of soft. And I don't like that. But I did like Stargirl, but I don't think Stargirl was the Arrowverse at all. Thank God. But I did like Stargirl. And to be fair, I did used to like the Arrowverse and like their first seasons, a little bit of their seconds. But by like, later on, the shows just started to get too CW-ish. They just became so soft and everything. And always talking about feelings and destiny. And we are the Flash. And just like that got on my nerves. I'm like, I'm out. And it's no coincidence that Creature Commandos came out on the same freaking day as the series finale of Superman and Lois. If you think that's a coincidence, you have lost your stinking mind. Because that's not a coincidence whatsoever. That man did that on purpose. And he's letting you know, hey, look, this era is gone and now we're in my era. I don't know how Creature Commandos is doing. I refuse to watch it because I'm just not interested in it. And I got HBO Max. I'm just not interested in it. It seems like a couple of reviewers who I've never heard of before seem to really love it. And then, of course, you got the Snyder Bros who are hating it online, but they hate everything DC that's not Snyderverse. So, you know how that is and stuff. So I don't know who's really telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess the only way to find out is for myself, but I refuse to do that. I'll watch some of his other stuff. I'll watch his Superman movie. If that Batman movie ever gets made, I'll watch that. But I'm not watching Creature Commandos. I love Supergirl, but his Supergirl story does not sound interesting. Why the heck would I want to see a depowered Supergirl on a planet, I think that has like a red sun or something like that? Why? Why would I want to see some bull crap like that? I want to see her with her powers doing stuff. But back to this show. So yes, it has now come to an end. And there's been a lot of behind the scenes drama when it came to the show getting canceled. And because of that, it has helped me not go on a full rant about how this season is like the least interesting of like the other 3 seasons and stuff. I still think season 1 is the best, plain and simple as that. Season 2 was really interesting, but something was just wrong with season 2. But I did like season 2. I think I liked season 3, but I started to see the writing on the wall with season 3, with like the budget and stuff like that, and how less screen time certain people are getting. But the behind the scenes drama with this is because it got canceled and because this was going to be the last season and because they only had 10 episodes and not 13 or more than that, they did not have the budget they normally do. So because of that, their entire main cast, except for the Superman family and Lex Luthor, got axed. It literally got gutted. And I don't mean, they're going to cram them in for a couple episodes. No, they straight up fired everybody. And some of them took this really hard. I believe like the Lana Lang actress, I think she took that very, very, very tough. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knew there was going to be some mess. So because of that, and because of the lower budget and what's going on, I'm like, okay, I can give certain things a pass that I normally wouldn't in the past. You know what I'm saying? However, something like a miracle happened. All of a sudden, it's revealed that they worked with whoever it is they had to work with in the budget and everything, and they was able to bring the cast back. So everybody came back, but there was a problem. They was going to have reduced roles. For the most part, everybody will only show up for about 3 episodes total, but only get 2 episodes dedicated to them-ish. I say them-ish because a lot of them did not get their solo episodes. In fact, 2 of them or 3 of them really got sidelined. And you can see the actress who plays Natalie, the black girl at the top, she does not look happy. And why? Because when you watch this season, you realize even in those 3 episodes she's in, or technically 2-ish, she doesn't do much of nothing. Nothing revolves around her. And she barely says anything. It's like she's just there to collect a paycheck. But then, and then it's just like, because they literally have nothing for her. Same with Sarah. Sarah is just kind of there. But at least Sarah got a send off. Natalie didn't get no send off. Natalie didn't have nothing that focused on her. Natalie is just there. And then there is John Henry Irons and stuff, and he's kind of just there. And not only that, but ever since the third season, he's been weak. Like, he's been getting his butt kicked a lot. And the fact that he thought he can go up against Doomsday, like, what the world made them think that? And of course, he gets his butt kicked, and then he's kind of just barely there for the rest of the season, and then he gets his suit stolen. Funny how the three people of color barely do anything this season. It's almost like, that's a typical thing of Hollywood. Anyways, and so I was really upset that, like, some of these characters barely doing anything. Like the two girls, like Sarah and Natalie, if they was barely gonna be there, then what was the point of even bringing them back? You know what I'm saying? And I kind of wish, in a way, they didn't bring some of these people back, only because they had absolutely nothing to do. And that was really upsetting. Like, this is what's so weird. The Cal and the Chrissy, 2 episodes, they had 2 solo episodes that were nothing but filler. And it's kind of like, really? One of those filler episodes they couldn't give to Natalie or Sarah? They couldn't go on like an adventure and it had to be saved, or Natalie gets the suit up, which her suit is fully functional, but she don't get to use it until it gets destroyed towards the end, but still. And it's just kind of like, you couldn't cram in an episode for them, but you had to give a bunch of filler episodes? See, that pisses me off. Now, ironically, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the episodes I actually enjoyed with the first couple when Superman is dead. I know, because the only reason why I even watched this show is because of Superman. And the only reason why I watched this show is because when I started watching in the first season, I was shocked and surprised all the cool stuff they did with Superman. And I'm just kind of like, hey, the CW's improving themselves. And so, like, this is actually kind of deep and everything. Because this is a completely different Superman story that we've never seen before. But the ironic thing is, I actually liked all the episodes that did not have him in there and when he was dead, because that was the most juiciest of them all. It was kind of like, oh my God, what the heck is going to happen? Doomsday is still there. Lex is evil as can be. And Jordan, he's trying to do his best and everything. And Lois is, doing her best. And it's just kind of like, what the heck is going to happen now? But then as soon as Superman came back to life, it kind of just got boring. We had some filler episodes, which if you're on crunch time, you don't do no filler episodes. So I cannot forgive them for that. But then here's the craziest thing. Superman comes back, but he's not really doing anything Supermanish. He barely puts on the suit, and when he does, it's only like for 20-30 seconds, and that's about it. And the reason why is because they depowered him, because now he has a human heart. And so because of that, he's not really doing Superman stuff because he can't. And this is all because of the budget. And I'm just, because, in other seasons, you see him whipping around town, saving people and stuff. But you don't see that no more because they can't do the CGI. And so they have his sons do it instead. And his sons are the worst Superboys I've ever seen. They cannot fight to save their lives, literally. They can't even beat Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor has no powers, and he doesn't, at that time, had no super suit. And they both got their butts kicked by a human. Now, granted, one time he used kryptonite, and the second time I forgot what the heck he did. But they could not fight him and everything. They are just like little wusses and everything. And then one gets his feelings hurt so bad because mom did something and his brother now has powers, and so he's all like, I'm just gonna sit this out, you go save people. So I'm like, really? So now we see Jonathan save people but not Jordan, and that's because of the budget and everything. And I'm just like, well, then what the heck did you even give Jordan powers for? Just kept letting Jordan have it instead of Jonathan. And then when they both start using their powers, they suck so bad it takes two of them to save one person. There's a helicopter flying out the sky finna hit the ground. It takes two of them to fly up to the helicopter and save just one person. While they let the helicopter hit the ground and the blade almost killed their mom. Then, when they had to go rescue Amanda from Lex Luthor, it took two of them just to fly to the car, grab her before a bomb goes off. They suck. Like, they really, really do. And I'm not forgiving them for this. I don't care about the whole budget thing, but teasing their Superboy suits, oh no. So we get a tease before like the last two episodes, no, the last three episodes that hey, they're getting super suits. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I'm like, oh, I bet I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna pull a Smallville, and they do. So basically, it's CGI suits forming on their body and flying in the sky, and it happens very, 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 very quickly. I didn't like it when Smallville did it. I didn't like it when Tom Welling came back to play Clark in the Arrowverse for a crisis when he didn't have no suit and he didn't have no powers. And I sure as heck don't appreciate it now. And I don't appreciate how they changed John Henry's costume to his comic accurate suit only for it to be on the back of a billboard and have him fly around. And as for Natalie, they didn't even change her suit. They just put an S on it and that's it. You tease me. I don't like being teased at all. I hate teaser movie trailers, and I hate this tease right here. However, I gotta give it up to some of the good storylines that they told this season. There was some that was really impactful. There was some that had me on the edge of my seat, couldn't wait for the next week. And there was some that was so emotional towards the end, it just made you sad, dude. You know, it's like you kind of have a feeling they was gonna kill him again, but you wasn't expecting it to happen the way it did, and it was just so touching. You know what I'm saying? It was just like so touching. Because other ways he's died have been just so kind of blah. But he always normally dies alone, or Lois dies. You know, he has lone jeopardy. So either in some stories Lois dies or he dies and the other one is still alive. But this time they both die within a couple of like months or years from each other. And it's really, really sad. And this draws from a lot of inspiration. It draws from Justice League Unlimited with that fight scene where Clark is fighting Lex in the sky and like, you know, he hits him really hard and he flies behind him and hits him again and it does the same thing over and over. It takes inspiration from the Man of Steel with the dark Superman color pattern suit. I don't know why they went for a muted suit. Like that, all that did was stir up the Snyder Bros. That's all that did online. Because as soon as they saw it, they just went crazy online. And then it also takes inspiration from Smallville a couple of ways. The CGI suits and everything, the CGI flying around at the end, and also Crypto being a golden retriever. I'm so sick and tired of him being a golden retriever. Is Titans the only version we're gonna get a proper Crypto? Like, is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the like, even though he's not from Krypton, at least he still looked the way he's supposed to look. And even in freaking James Gunn movie, he doesn't look right. Like, that pisses me off and everything. I just want Crypto to look the way he does in the comics. And I want him to fly and shoot lasers and stuff. So this season picks all exactly where it took off last time with the fight between Doomsday and Superman. And we got a little bit of that action last season. And this is where a lot of the budget actually went for the fight between Superman and Doomsday, because there's two total. First episode and last episode, and his appearance keeps changing. And not only does his appearance keep changing, but like the fight itself is, pretty good. You can see they kept redoing the reshot same over and over, them just like punching each other in the same position. So it wasn't really spectacular. It's not like the animated movies or the animated show where they went buck wild and everything. They had to be restrained because of their budget. I can understand that. I can give that a pass. And so the version of Doomsday looks amazing. Out of all the live action ones we've got, this is the best looking one ever because he's pretty comic book accurate. The first one on the top left is from Smallville season 8, I think it was, and he only showed up for a couple of seconds. The one on the second picture on the far right, that one is from Krypton, the television show. And the one from the bottom left, that's from Man of Steel. And then, of course, the one on the far right is the one from Superman and Lois. But I was not expecting them to actually do the Death of Superman modified version. This Doomsday, which is technically Bizarro and everything, straight up killed Superman. And you can kind of see certain things here and there. You can kind of predict, like the way he was holding his chest and the way he held him in his hand. I'm like, dude, tell me he did not rip his heart out. And he ripped it out, and we got to see the heart. I'm like, holy crap. He straight up murdered this dude. I'm all like, how are they going to revive him with no heart? Or is he just going to stay dead for the rest of the season and be a hologram while his sons take over? That would be ballsy, and I would give them much props if they did that. And so as the family is hovering around his body, we see people in the streets looking at them. I'm like, dude, they're going to figure out that they're related to Superman. And of course they do. And so Lex wants Superman heart. This version of Lex is just pure outly for revenge. He is very evil, very tough. He has like a biker boy kind of look to him. He had hair back in the day. He shaved it when he was in prison, but he kept the goatee. I am so sick and tired of the goatee look on Lex. It's getting on my nerves. But like last season, I did not like this version of Lex, especially with how tough they tried to make him look by beating up a man and making him his chair, and then walking all the way from Strikers all the way to Smallville. And it's hundreds and hundreds of miles away. He just walked on foot. No, that was just doing it too much. But here, I get why he's that tough guy. He's not the super smart Lex that he is in other versions. He doesn't create stuff. He doesn't have like a 10th level intellect or whatever. He's just a businessman who has other people make things for him, and he is solely out for revenge, and he still just wants to kill Superman for the sake of it. His motive is he wants his British daughter and everything. I don't know why she's British, because the actress is British. Just put on a fake American accent. Anyway, he went to jail or prison for a murder he did not commit this time. And Lois and them is the one who put him in jail, and Mannheim is the one who framed him. Lois had no idea. So he's been wanting revenge ever since, and he has no idea that Superman is Clark. So he's been in prison for like 14 years, and he never saw his daughter. When he gets out, because they finally told the truth at the end of the last season, she wants nothing to do with him because she's heard he's an evil man. So he constantly is asking Lois, yo, give me my daughter. She says no, so he's all like, F you, I want my revenge. I'm going to get it on you, and I'm going to get it on Superman because y'all ruined my life. And he literally goes to war with both of them the entire season, upping his ante and being 10 steps ahead of them and everything. And so this is where Superman is now dead, and he has his heart. Jordan tries to get his heart, but can't because Lex has like kryptonite lasers that take him completely out. But Lex does something that had me on the edge of my seat. He kidnapped both boys, and he told Lois on the phone, pick one. You press one for one of them and two for the other. Whichever one you will pick, I will save that one. She didn't want to do it, and it was like a panic moment. You like stressed out just seeing her stressed out. So she hit a button, and we don't know which one she hit until the next episode. And I figured she wanted to save Jonathan, because he had no powers at that time. So at some point, both boys end up being safe, and Lex plays the message to Jordan, letting him know, hey, your mom picked your brother over you because he has no powers and you do, and you're the special one, but she don't love you. So for the next couple of episodes, he's pissy about that, and it's some really good drama and everything. And he's just like really, really upset. Cause he's always felt like the one that nobody liked in the beginning. He doesn't really look too much like his parents and everything. He's not a jock, and then he got his powers, and he started being somewhat of kind of like a favorite, and the other son started to resent him because of that. But then things get even different between him and his brother, because his brother ends up getting powers just out of the blue. He touched Clark's like spaceship and started getting powers. Random, rushed, but they had to because the season's up. But I would have appreciated just never gave him powers. Plus, it doesn't make sense when he's take that drugs to give him powers. So whatever. So he thinks he's a big shot now. He's zipping around town and everything, and it's pissing Jordan off. At this point in time, they still gotta rescue Sam from last season. He is now buried alive, and I thought he was gonna die underground. I'm like, holy crap, dude! But Jordan found him and everything, or Jonathan, one I can't remember. And so like Sam, after that, he's trying to do everything he can at that military facility he used to work at, and trying to get Superman to come back alive. He realized that Lex is going to send that monster at some point, and Superman needs a heart because Lex destroyed Superman's heart by stomping it on the ground right in front of Jordan. That was so intense. I couldn't believe they actually showed that on screen. I'm like, this is what I'm saying. Like, in the first couple of episodes were really good when Clark was dead. I couldn't believe they did this crap. It's like, how the heck is he gonna come back alive? Well, Sam injected himself with some type of serum that gave him temporary Superman powers, and then Doomsday showed up and snapped his neck. So Sam is now gone. But he left a message for like literally Jordan to take the heart to the fortress and give it to Clark. And when they do that, I knew something was going to be wrong because it's a human heart that's been infused with a serum. And it's not all that compatible, and it causes Clark to act like a normal human at times, and he's gonna age like one, and he's gonna get diseases like one. So Clark / Superman is back, but he is so depowered, and when he's back, he's pretty boring. So they had to find a way to keep him interesting, since he's not gonna be flying around town saving people in his suit. And the stuff they give him between him and Lex is actually pretty interesting, but then the things that happen in Comulate is just kind of like, whoa, dude, I wasn't really expecting this, and some things I do not like. Starters, let me just get this out the way. Jordan told Jonathan's girlfriend, hey, your boyfriend got powers. So now everybody's secret is exposed. And I hate that. But then Clark's secret gets out. People started to get suspicious of the family hovering around Superman's body. And then somebody from prison spilled the beans and all this other crap. And Superman's identity is exposed to a lot of people. This causes problems. He tries to play it off like, oh, I'm not Superman, blah, blah, blah. But then something happened on live television, I believe. And no, something happened at the restaurant. And he had to expose himself in front of everybody, and boom, now everybody knows, and he decides to go on news to tell the whole world he's Superman, something he's never wanted to do before. I hate this storyline. I've never liked it. I don't like it in no superhero fashion. I didn't like it in the MCU because every superhero identity is exposed. I don't like it when they did it in the Arrowverse. I just don't like it, period. They're supposed to have an identity for a secret identity for a reason, and it makes it more fun. Now everybody knows that, and they're treating them like superstars, like in that bizarre world, and it's kind of interfering because people's all like, "Oh, you use your special abilities when you was playing football," and blah 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 blah. So this is causing tension between people and stuff, right? And so, like, Lex is still, because this is all Lex's idea to have him expose his identity and this and that. And one time, Lex had him like fight. Well, Lex fought Superman when he had a bunch of like red solar lights and everything, and Clark still whooped his behind and made him get out of town. But he wasn't done there. After changing his appearance and looking more like a businessman, like from the comic, this is one of the best versions of Lex we've ever seen because he is pure evil. He's just bent on revenge, period. He's done with his daughter, almost. This is the cameo that, or the appearance that just ruined it for me. Tom Cavanaugh was reported to appear on this show, but nobody knew who. It turns out he's Godfrey. No, Godfrey. Wait, what is it? Gordon Godfrey, I think his name is. The dude who hates metahumans and superpower aliens and superheroes. But he doesn't play him like all the animated versions. In the animated stuff, he is like, one of those mouthy, like Fox News type of reporters who keep spreading like lies and he hates people and stuff like that. He didn't play it off like this at all. And I'm just like, what a waste of an appearance, man. He's supposed to be this hard-hitting reporter and a very downright, like, nasty one at that. And he's just kind of charming, kind of. And I'm just like, that's the role he's supposed to have, that. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's nothing and everything. And so he has to expose himself once again. And I think he acts like angry in front of like the cameras and like, or Superman. And it's been exposed that Lois lied to get him put in prison, Lex. And so, all this other crap. But anyways, Lex completely ruins everything with his daughter. She's willing to give him a chance until he still wants revenge on Lois. She's all like, look, man, I'm not for that crap. And so she sees the kind of man he really is and wants nothing to do with him. And she's pregnant. He's pissed off and now he's 100% done with his daughter. Amanda, who is from the comics and not an original character, is like his right-hand woman. And they've had like an affair in the past. She helps run the business and she's hoping get things done and everything. Like hoping to steal John Henry Iron's suit for like Lex, but Milton Fine and stuff like that. And so she's delusional, believing him, but Lois is all like, he's going to betray you like he does everybody else. Because once he doesn't need you no more, he's going to try to kill you and stuff. And she found that out the hard way when she realized that his need for revenge is just going too far and everything. And so, like, he literally tries to blow her up in the car and everything. She has to get saved by the Superboys and stuff. I can't believe they gave us the Milton Fine version of Brainiac. I've never liked that version except for Smallville. But even then, I was still bummed with the way he looked. And this is just a pure human version. He's really smart. He's nerdy. He's a nothing. He steals the suit, John Iron's suit. He encrypts it with more weapons. He gets taken by the DOJ. They could have left him out. They could have just made Lex smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, why waste this character? You could have gave more time to Natalie. So now Lex has the suit, right? And one of the things he has to do is he has to take out the previous owners of the suits. And so this is where we get to like Natalie and John and stuff like that. And so, like I said before, Natalie is just there. She interacts a little bit with Sam, not that much. She really doesn't do nothing. Her boyfriend from last season is completely written out the show. She kind of interacts with her dad a little bit. that's about it. It is nothing like the last season. And the biggest fumble they've ever had with this character is her and Lois never interact with each other, even though they're mother and daughter from a parallel dimension. That was the biggest fumble I've ever seen in this show, and I don't know why they did that. But she interacts very well with the brothers and Sam, just not this season. She is literally just there. Her suit gets destroyed. She is literally just there. She doesn't even get a send off. Like, we find out in the very last bit that she's still a superhero and flying around in her suit, but that's about it. She has no goals this season. She has no motive. She is just there. So of course, this dude's been getting his butt kicked all season. He thought he can go up against Doomsday, got his butt kicked. He got his butt kicked last season. Milton Fine stole his suit with him in it. He tries to destroy Clark. Clark gets him out of the suit. Lex steals the suit. He's kind of just there. He interacts with Lana a little bit, but that's about it. He works for the DOJ, but you never see him work for the DOJ. He has Milton arrested by the DOJ, but it's not him. And then they finally let him have a hero moment with his hammer unsuited, taking out, I think, Doomsday or something like that, and it kills him. Really? That kills Doomsday? I get they wanted to go with the whole Superman, death of Superman, but the way Doomsday got portrayed this season, I'll get to that a little bit later. And so, unexpectedly, him and Lana gets married in the future. They barely interact this season, only like a little bit. And I forgot they was even dating, and they got married. So that's his send off and everything. They had to find a way to shove everybody in. As for Lana herself, they really had to find a way to squeeze her into this season and stuff. And so like basically she's just there being the mayor. Lex is trying to like, go over her head. He's trying to buy land from all these people so he can do something nefarious and build like a Lex Corp over there. But she talked to the people and then they refuse and he gets pissed and he wants to destroy the people. She's kind of just there too. And so is Sarah, my God. She's just a waitress complaining about living in Smallville. She's never going to make nothing of herself. She distracts Lex long enough to like let one of the boys go in his apartment. But that's about it. Then she complains, there's nothing here for me. Maybe I should leave. She goes to France aboard by herself. So she's now in high school in France by herself. She comes back and still complaining, oh, being in France for like a whole year or two really makes me appreciate it. And there's nothing for me in Smallville. Her and Jordan don't get together, nothing like that. They had to write her off really fast and she don't really do nothing. Her and her mom have completely reconciled from last season. She's just there. Chrissy and Cal, which is a relationship I absolutely hate. And so they're still together. They're about to get married. There are 2 solo episodes with them in it. The first one, they're about to get married. She gets cold feet. They don't, but they stay together. The second one is they want to move away because, she's having a baby and everything. And they sell their share of like the Gazette to Lois and all that. And she moves away in the future. Eventually they get married and she has a total of 3 kids. I think she has a teenage son from season 3, but you never really see him. And as for Cal, where the heck is their youngest daughter? She appeared in 1 episode this season and I don't even think she really said anything and she disappeared again. That girl has been missing since season 2. It's like you forget they even have a daughter. So Doomsday is very, 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 very interesting. He is technically Bizarro, but Lex killed him so many times and pumped him full of so much stuff that he turned the way he looks now. And he completely kicked Clark's butt. It was a pretty cool fight scene, somewhat, in the beginning of the first episode. And then he killed Sam. But then after that, I was wondering how the heck are they going to get rid of this dude? Not to mention, I'm like, okay, Clark is now back, but he's scared of this thing. He doesn't think he can defeat it. He thinks he's going to die again. Remind you in second season, Clark literally punched the Earth so hard that the parallel Earth that it was merging with got kicked out. So it's like there's two Earths, they're combining into one. He punched the Earth so freaking hard that the other Earth, like, just got completely kicked out of, like, the other Earth. But he can't defeat Doomsday. This is the only Superman who can't kill Doomsday. It's an embarrassing. All the animated versions are able to do it. Heck, even Smallville, Clark was able to do it. And so, like, Lois gets rid of the monster at first. She goes to him and talks words of compassion to him. And they're like, don't you remember me? How much you loved your wife that looked like me and blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do this, do you? So then he goes away and he's not seen for the next couple episodes. I'm all like, really? That's how you get rid of him? But then Lex wants him for one more task. Of course, to kill Superman and the family. So he goes to do that. And John Henry Irons kills him with the hammer. All of a sudden, this hammer is so powerful now. And so Clark is all like, take him into the sun and he'll die because the sun affects him differently. So we see Superman fly him up and take him towards the sun until he wakes up. I'm like, oh, we finna get another battle in space. No. Doomsday has decided, I'm just going to give up and lets Clark pushes him into the sun. Where he does his Jesus pose, that Superman Jesus pose that everybody keeps doing so much, and then he just evaporates in the sun. I'm all like, really? That's how you get rid of Doomsday? You can't even let Clark kill him like in the freaking comics and crap? Oy. So Superman and Lex, they fight, and it's kind of a little bit of a lackluster fight, some nice CGI. He shoots him with some kryptonite, like dart bullets and stuff, and I hate how kryptonite doesn't affect him the way it does in other versions. It really pisses me off. So he's able to pull them out, and then he's just able to punch Lex all throughout the sky, and he punches Lex so hard, Lex literally shatters out of the suit. I'm all like, really? I get you're depowered and everything, but come on, you couldn't even defeat Doomsday. But in a way, he doesn't even kill Lex. And he just takes him back to jail and everything. I'm all like, I don't like it when Superman kills, but this time I would have been okay with it because of what all Lex has been doing. And so Lex is back in prison, and that's just where he's going to rot now. And so 2 years have passed, and we hear from Clark that he said he's died a total of twice. And we get to hear the story of what they all been up to. And it's a very touching thing because the whole battle ended in 30 minutes. I'm like, what the last 10 are going to be about, And so technically it stopped at 7:30. So I don't know combined with commercials, but anyways, the last 30 minutes of the hour, let's just say that. And so we get like a monologue and some flash forward stuff. It turns out that the boys are now grown up and they now have been married and they have kids. We don't know who they married. We don't know if they still with, we don't know if Jonathan's still with his girlfriend, and Jordan and Sarah don't seem to be together. And so we don't know, but they have a bunch of grandkids and everything. Sadly, Lois' cancer came back. That's normally what happens when if it doesn't get you the first time, the second time it gets you, it kills you and stuff. And so she died because of that, and he had to live the rest of his life without her. And it's really sad, So then he got a dog named Crypto and everything, and he just loved that dog to death and lets it sleep in the bed with him and everything. And him and Kal was hanging out, and he had a heart attack, but he didn't die because he gave him CPR. But then when Clark got a little bit more older and more gray and everything, he died. But he said the second time he died, it was joyful and everything. He kind of, as a ghost, he kind of floated from his body and saw like his kids when they was kids. He forgave Lex, and he saw his wife and gave her a big kiss, and it just ended. And of course, we get that last shot of him flying with his sons, Natalie and John. But we don't know how they ended up. We know John and Lana are married. They don't care about Natalie on this show. And they still remain superheroes and stuff. And that's really about it. But like with the youngest daughter, the Cushion family, missing for 2 whole seasons and barely appearing, somebody else hasn't appeared in 2 seasons. And that is Bizarro Jonathan. Where the heck is he? He never went back to his dimension. They imprisoned him in the DOJ. He still has his powers. Why hasn't he been brought up? Why haven't anybody tried to use him for his powers? Why didn't Lex try to use him for his powers? It's like they completely forgot all about that dude. And you know what's so crazy? It's like you gotta give it up to like these two stars because they really do play these roles very good. Like this is one of my favorite like actors to play Superman. And at first I wasn't really feeling the actress who played Lois when she appeared like in that Crisis episode because she was in Supergirl because she was kind of acting like the old school Lois that was kind of like getting on my nerves of interfering in like, you know, a battle and you know, and always wanting to help out and all that crap, and I was getting on my nerves. But I like this version a whole lot more where she plays a very stern, concerned like mother and wife, you know. And I just didn't like that older version when they was on like, you know, part of the Arrowverse. But I really do like this version of her. And to think this will all never have happened. And that's the craziest part because this all happened because Henry Cavill didn't want to play like, you know, a cameo in this first Shazam movie. And because of that, Superman was then free to appear on Supergirl because when Supergirl was on the CBS in the first season, they were not allowed to have him. They had to have him in like a silhouette and they had to refer to him as her cousin. But then soon after he refused to do like that cameo and he was no longer employed by the WB, Superman was allowed to appear in television. And so he started guest appearing in like Supergirl in like this costume and everything. And they like brought him back to like the older version of Superman. He's optimistic, he's nicer, he smiles and everything. He actually saves people and stuff. And he's just like a friendly, lucky, like happy guy and everything. And, you know, he appeared in the CW a lot more in the Arrowverse, and then he got his own show eventually. And that was like over 10 years ago, I believe. He's like the longest reigning Superman there is because he's been playing him for nearly 10 years and everything. That's just crazy to think about. So while I understand how this season became the way it did and stuff like that, and the craziness behind the scenes drama with people getting fired and rehired, but only putting like 2 episodes or 2-ish or 3-ish or whatever, there's still some things about this season I just particularly don't like, you know, because they're just not, I did not come here to watch a family drama Superman show. I came to watch a Superman show. And it sucks that we couldn't get a full season. He couldn't be in the suit that much. He couldn't do Superman type stuff. But the story they did give us is pretty pleasant and everything. Still, there's some things I wish could have been done a little bit differently. But, you know, at least they got this satisfying ending, however much rushed it had to be. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.